Hello all, welcome to another session of JavaScript Made Easy course. As part of this session, I am going to start JavaScript basics. So let's get started. So under JavaScript basics, I am going to cover printing, variables, literals, operators, flow control statements, and comments. These are the several topics I am going to cover under the JavaScript basics. But in this session, I am going to cover printing using JavaScript. Okay. So how to write the printing statements in JavaScript language to print different things. So let's get started here with the printing. Let me expand this. In order to print the output of the JavaScript programs, we have to use a statement known as console.log. In JavaScript, if you want to print something, we have to use console.log. Okay. Whatever you want to print, you have to provide inside this circular brackets of this log. Okay. You have to write console.log and in between the circular brackets, whatever you want to print, you have to provide. So here we have some nodes, guys. Okay. We are going to use these nodes for learning how to print in JavaScript, okay, using console.log statement, okay, using console.log statement, how to print, I am going to cover, okay. So these are the nodes we have. This is just for reference case, okay, there's nothing big here, but let's use that as a reference. So if I switch to this Visual Studio Code editor, so as part of the previous session, I copied this statement from, Google or ChatGPT and pasted it here and have run this in the terminal. And when I have run this, I got this output, right? Okay. So I'll just say clear, press enter. The previous output will be cleared and all. Now it's kind of clear. Okay. So here, so in JavaScript, okay, if you want to print anything, you have to write console.log and give this circular brackets. Okay, remember this console. Okay, we have to write console.log and in the circular brackets, if you want to print some text, you have to surround the text with double quotes, guys. Whenever you want to print some text, right? Text in JavaScript need to be how the text in JavaScript will be represented with double quotes. In between the double quotes, we have to write the text. For example, my name is Harun Motori. Okay, like this I want to write console.log and in between the double quotes you have to write this particular text case. Okay. Now I want to run this. Okay. I want to run this JavaScript code to see whether this console.log will print this particular text in the output or not. Okay. In the terminal output or not. Let's see that. Okay. For that, I have to use the node command node space. I need to give the name and extension of the file demo.js and press enter. If you get this output, my name is, okay, you see whatever the text that I have provided inside this log circular brackets, the text is surrounded by double quotes. Okay, whenever you want to represent text in JavaScript, you have to surround the text with double quotes only. That's the only way. Okay, and if you provide that text surrounded by double quotes to this console.log code, then you can see that it is getting printed here. So this is how we can use a console.log for printing the text. Now, the next thing here is you can also write like this, okay? CLG and press the tab key. You will get the console.log. You see, if you don't remember the syntax, you can write, since you already have installed an extension, right? You can do that, okay? Just double quotes, okay? Just give double quotes and write whatever you want to print, okay? I love JavaScript, okay? I love JavaScript and run it the same way. You can press the up and down arrow keys or up arrow key to go to the previous commands. For example, if you want to clear, you can go that. And if you want to run like this, okay, just press up arrow key, your previous commands will come, okay. You see the I love JavaScript got printed. Now, what if I want to clear this? I want to clear this. What if I want to print a number? What if I want to print a number? CLG, tab, and here, if you want to print a number like 9 or something, do you have to surround this number in JavaScript with double quotes? No, guys, it's not required. Numbers can be directly printed. Unlike text, okay? The text, the whatever the text that you want to print, right? You are surrounding the text with double quotes. But the numbers you don't have to surround with double quotes, guys. You can directly print like this, okay? Console.log 9, okay? Now run this. You see, the text got printed. The text need to be surrounded with double quotes in JavaScript language, and the numbers no need to be surrounded with double quotes, okay? You see, without double quotes also number got printed. That's what I wanted to prove. Okay. There's one more thing that you can print multiple things, okay? I'll let you know what exactly I mean, okay? Here, printing the text, printing a number, printing multiple values, okay? You can also print multiple values. Okay, so here I'm going to write CLG tab console.log, and here I want to print multiple things. I want to print multiple things. Let's say, okay, location, not location, maybe something in number format, okay? Experience, okay? Experience, okay? I would like to print this experience. If I print only experience, what will happen? If I give only experience, what will happen here? Only the experience will be, only experience part will be printed. Okay. Only experience text will be printed. What if I give a comma here? Okay. And I'll give 18. Okay. 18 years of experience. Okay. If I give comma 18, what will happen? Now run this. You see, experience 18. Okay. And if I want to put a colon or something, I can put here. That's okay. Okay. Experience colon like that. If I want to put, okay, I can do this. Okay, you see experience 18. So I can print multiple items, guys. Okay, using console.log, I can print multiple items, not only this single item, but multiple items. Okay, put a comma here and give one more item. Let's say I would like to give location. Okay, location colon comma. Here I'll give Hyderabad. Okay, like this, I'll give some different values. You see? No matter how many elements, how many things I want to print using a single console.log, I can print, but I need to separate them with comma. Okay. Here one item, this string text, okay, number, again string text, and again text, which is in the form of string. Okay. Like this, multiple items I can print using console.log. Okay. Console.log not only will print one string or one number, but you can print multiple strings and numbers using console.log. Okay. That's what you need to understand. So you can do a lot apart from whatever I have covered in this session, printing a string, printing a number. Printing a string means printing some text here. Okay. This is nothing but string. Text surrounded by double quotes is called as string. Printing that text we can do with console.log. Printing a number like this console.log we can use this. We don't have to surround the number with double quotes. Okay. Printing multiple values, just separate this multiple values like a string text, number, or anything combination using comma here. Okay. So it will be printed like this. Okay. But you see console.log is a very big subject, guys. But here at this point of time where exactly we are in, okay, wherever we are in this particular session, this much amount of knowledge on console.log is enough, guys. Okay. And you see any programming language you take, printing statements are very common. Okay. Developers use printing statements like anything, whether you go with Java or JavaScript or Python, whatever it may be. We need to know. Okay, it's a very fundamental thing for anyone who is learning any programming language to know how to print things in a particular programming language. Okay, so in JavaScript, if you want to print something, whether it may be some string text or whether it may be a number or combination of string text and number or whatever it may be, we have to use a statement. Okay, console.log. Most used statements in any programming language is printing statements, guys. In JavaScript, the printing statement is console.log. Remember that. Okay, at this point of time, whatever the knowledge I have shared as part of the console.log for printing text number and combination of text number or multiple elements is enough at this point of time. Okay, we may learn more about console.log later if required. Okay, depending on the situations. But for now, this much amount of knowledge on printing in JavaScript using console.log is more than enough. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is variable. Till then, variables, that is variables. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic under the JavaScript basics, that is variables. What are variables and how to create or declare these variables in JavaScript? Everything I'm going to cover in this session. So let's begin. So what are variables? Let me explain that first. What are variables? Variables. So in JavaScript, what exactly are variables? If you ask someone, not only in JavaScript, guys, if you ask someone in Java programming language, or it may be Python programming language, or it can be Ruby, it can be C Sharp, whatever the programming language, okay, including JavaScript. If you ask someone what exactly is a variable, they will give you this particular answer. Okay, when you ask someone what is a variable, they will generally, okay, most of the people in the market give you this answer. That is variable, variables store data. Okay, variable store data. This is what is simple answer. Okay, they will tell you or give you when you ask this question. What is a variable? Okay, when you ask them what is a variable, you are going to get this particular answer. Variable store data. This answer you are going to get. Okay, this answer you guys are going to get when you ask someone what exactly is a variable. But is the answer right? Maybe most of the people who are asking this particular question in the interviews will be satisfied with this answer. They are not clearly or technically explaining what exactly is a variable, but you are explaining what is the purpose of the variable. So here, the variable store data is the answer for what is the purpose of the variables. What is the, if someone asks you what is the use of variables or what is the purpose of variables, okay, then this answer is 100% right, guys, okay. Exactly, you got the answer here. Okay. What is the purpose of the variables? Variables store data. Okay. What is the purpose of the variables? Variable store data is the purpose of the variables. But what exactly is a variable? Still not clear, right? Okay. Most of the times when you ask this question, what is a variable? A lot of people give you the answer like variable store data, which is the answer for what is the purpose of the variables question. But what is a variable? If I have to answer in a proper way, let me explain. Okay. Assume that this is a computer memory. Assume that this particular box is a computer memory, entire computer memory. I'm dividing this computer memory into multiple slots, guys. I'm dividing this. Okay. I'm dividing this computer memory into multiple slots like this. Okay. I'm dividing this computer memory into multiple slots. Like this, I'll divide the computer memory into multiple slots like this. Okay. Once you divide the computer memory into this multiple slots, okay, then if you create a variable in programming language, any programming language, let's take, say currently we are in JavaScript, right? In JavaScript language, how to create the variable? You have to create like this. Let, okay, let is a keyword that you have to use in JavaScript for declaring the variables. I'll just name the variable as, a is equal to 5. Like this and semicolon. Okay, if I write this statement like this in JavaScript, okay, I'll explain more about this statement later. But for now, if I, okay, if I write this statement like this, let a is equal to 5. Okay, let is a keyword we have to use in JavaScript to declare the variable. Okay, and here I'm saying a is a variable, and into the variable a, what is getting stored? 5 value is getting stored. So a lot of people by looking at the statement say that what is a variable means, they will say variable store data. Here 5 is getting stored into the variable. But is that the answer for the variable? The purpose of the variable is to store this data. Okay, the purpose of this variable is to store the data. That's 100% right. But what exactly is a variable? You are going to understand now. The moment I write this statement in JavaScript programming language, like let a is equal to 5, semicolon or something. Okay, here the data 5 is getting stored into one of the memory slot of the computer. In this entire computer memory, in one of the memory slot, this data 5 got stored. Now, this memory location has some address 1011. Okay, this slot has some address like 1011. This one has address like 1010. Okay. The other memory slot has address like 1111. The other slot has address like 1110. Every memory slot will have some address. But is it possible for you guys to remember the address of each and every memory slot? No, right? It's not possible for us to remember the address of each and every memory slot. Same thing happens in the real world, okay? Everyone nowadays is carrying the mobile phone. In your mobile phone, there are a lot of contacts. Do you remember each and every contact number that is stored in your mobile phone? It's not possible, right? Few numbers we can remember who are close to us or your family members or someone, okay? Brothers, sisters, okay? Parents, okay? And other family members you generally remember, right? But can you remember each and every mobile number that is stored in your mobile phone? No, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to name the contacts. Okay, in our context list. Okay, when you add a particular number into your mobile phone, you will give it some name of the person or something, or the details of the person. You will just enter in the name so that whenever required, okay, whenever required, you will search for that name and the appropriate contact number will appear on the mobile phone and you will call them, right? So we cannot remember each and every mobile phone number. Similarly, remembering the each and every memory slot address number is again like 1011, 1010. This kind of things is not possible. Okay. So what we have to do is like we are giving the contact names to the contact numbers in our mobile phone for these memory addresses where the actual data is stored in the computer memory in the particular memory address. Though we are not able to remember this memory address, we can give it some name. Okay. We can give it some name. What is the name in this statement? Here, phi is the data. What is the name given to this memory location where the actual data phi is stored? That is nothing but A. In this example statement, A is nothing but the name given to the memory location. A is nothing but the name given to the memory location where the actual data is stored. Okay. A is nothing but the name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data 5 in this particular example is stored. That name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data file is stored is nothing but the variable. Okay, what is a variable? If someone asks you what is a variable, you have to answer like this. Variable is nothing but variable is nothing but a name given to the reserved memory location, reserved memory location where the actual data, where the actual data 5 is stored. What is a variable, guys? Variable is nothing but a name. It's like a name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data file is stored, where the actual data file is stored, or some actual data is stored. So here I have to change. Variable is nothing but name given to where the actual data is stored. Okay, I don't. Pi is an example, right? Okay, I'll write like this is the correct way. Okay, so if you can answer like this, okay, if you can answer like this, that's okay, guys. Okay, if you can answer like this, that's okay. What is a variable, guys? What is the actual answer for the variable? What is the actual answer for the variable? This is the actual answer for the what is variable. Technically speaking, this is the right answer for what is a variable. If someone asks you what is a variable, then even though you are giving the right answer, but most of the people in the market still believe that variables store data. So do we have to give this answer for this question or this answer still? Though you are answering correctly here, but a lot of people may not understand whatever you are answering here. They are expecting this answer. Even though the question is what is a variable, they are expecting the answer for what is the purpose of the variable. Then what to do? How to overcome this problem? Whenever someone asks you what is a variable, you have to start with this explanation and then also explain this also. Okay. Give both the answers. Whenever someone is asking what is a variable, you not only explain what is a variable, but also you explain what is the purpose of the variables. Okay. So if I ask you what is a variable, you have to answer like this. Variable is nothing but the name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data is stored. Okay. Since we cannot remember the memory address of each and every location of the memory where the actual data is stored, we are going to give it some name, and using the name, we can access this memory location where the actual data is stored. That's what is a variable. Variable is nothing but the name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data is stored. The purpose of the variable is to store the data. Like this, you have to answer. Someone asks you what is a variable, you have to say variable is nothing but the name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data is stored. The purpose of the variables is to store the data. Like this, you explain and give this example. If they are asking you in JavaScript or something, you have to create the variable like this and declare the variable with the let keyword and use is equal to and assign some data here. Like that, you have to say. Okay. So this is how you need to answer this question, guys. Variable is nothing but a name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data is stored. The purpose of the variables is to store the data. So how to create the variables in JavaScript? In order for you to create the variables in JavaScript, you have to know three keywords, three items you need to know. If you want to create this kind of variables, which are nothing but the names given to the reserved memory location where the actual data is stored and whose purpose is to store the data. Okay. If you want to create them in JavaScript programming language, there are three variables that you need to know. One is var keyword, other one is let keyword, other one is const keyword. Three keywords, okay? There are three keywords for creating the variables in JavaScript. In these three keywords, you should ignore this var keyword. Var keyword is the older one, guys, okay? No one is using nowadays, okay? It was the older one, okay? The older one is a var keyword, okay? Here some notes are also there, guys, okay? If you want to have a reference of this notes regarding this variables regarding the var, let and const, here we have this notes also available. I'll just open that, okay? Anyhow, I'll explain on the fly, whatever the details are on these notes at this point of time. You see, a lot of things will be coming in these notes, but you need not understand each and everything that is mentioned in these notes at this point of time. But whatever that is really required, I'm going to cover at a high level from these notes, okay? As a reference, I'm going to use these notes. The old way of creating the variables is by using the var keyword. Okay, what is the old way of creating the variables? We used to create the variables. Okay, in the earlier days when someone is using the JavaScript, they used to create the variables like this, where a is equal to 5 like that. They used to create. They used to create the variables with the help of the var keyword, right? But now, do we have to follow this old approach? No. Okay, let's not worry too much and waste our time understanding why var keyword is not required now, why it got, why it's the old way and why we are not using the var keyword nowadays. Okay, you see, it's an older version, older thing, right? Older thing. Why we have to learn each and every older thing and again waste our time here? Let us directly jump into the topic about the variables. Okay, so what is var is the older one, and we don't. Okay, no one will recommend you to declare the or create the variables with the var keyword. Okay, no one will ask you to. No one will nowadays use this var keyword for declaring or creating the variables. So the remaining two options that are left out for us are for creating the variables are let and const. Okay, these are the two keywords we have to focus. Already I covered the let here. Let a is equal to 5. Already I covered this. Okay, let a is equal to 5. Already I covered. So what is advantage of using the let keyword and how it is different from the const keyword? I'm going to cover now. Just wait. So I'll open the Visual Studio. Here, create a new file, guys. Okay, I'll just name this file as demo, or I'll say 2.js. 2.js. Earlier it was demo.js. Now it's 2.js. Here I'm going to create the variable using let keyword. Let a is equal to 5. Like this I'll create. Okay. How to print this variable, guys? How to print this value 5 here? If I print this variable, automatically this value 5 will be printed. In the previous session, if you remember, for printing the text, I have to surround the text with double quotes and put that inside the console.log statement. If I want to print a number, I have to put the number without surrounding with double quotes. Directly, I have to pass the number into the console.log and number 9 will get printed. And if I want to print multiple items like, text surrounded by double quotes, number, again text surrounded by double quotes, text surrounded by double quotes, again some number if you want, okay? Again some number, okay? You can add any number of items to this console.log. Okay, it can be any type, but text need to be surrounded by double quotes and numbers need not be surrounded by double quotes. Everything should be separated by comma. And to run this, we have to run like this, right? Node demo.js. Sorry, clear, I'll say. There is a mistake. Node demo.js. You see, you'll get the output. I love JavaScript 9. I love JavaScript got printed. Okay, text surrounded by double quotes. Number got printed. 9. Experience 18. Location Hyderabad 25. You see, all the items which are provided in the console.log got printed. Till now, I was using console.log for printing either the text or some data, directly data. But in this case, for the first time, I'm going to show you how to use console.log for printing the value that is stored in the variable. Okay, so CLG tab or console.log, if you remember this, that's okay. Console.log. In this console.log, just provide A. Okay, the name of the variable you provide. Don't surround this with double quotes or single quotes or whatever it may be. Directly pass the variable name in the console.log. What will happen? Will A will be printed or 5 will be printed in this case? Will A, the variable name will be printed in the output? When I run this code, console.log will print the variable name as it is like A in the output, or it will print the value that is stored in the variable in the output. It will print the value that is stored in the variable in the output, guys. Okay. So here I'll say node space, the name and extension of the file, that is 2.js. You see 5 got printed. When I print the variable name, the value that is actually stored in the variable got printed here, guys. Okay. This is what happens. This is what happens. Okay. This is how you can print the variables. And uh, when you print the variables, what will happen? The actual data that is actually stored in the variable will get printed in the output. Okay. Will not get the variable name printed here. It will actually print the value that is stored in the variable in the output. So using the let keyword, I created this variable. Okay. You can also say we declared the variable with the let keyword. Okay. So we can also say we have declared this variable A with let keyword. Okay. And into that variable, we have stored the value 5. Okay. We have stored the value 5. 5. So a lot of other things are there. I'll cover. Okay, I can explain a lot of things about this statement here. But for now, at a high level, understand that in order for you to create the variable in JavaScript, we have to either use var keyword or let keyword or const keyword. So var keyword is already, it's an old one. It's not recommended to use it. Rather, you focus on using let and const according to your requirements. Don't worry, what is the difference between var and let? Okay, if you really want to find out, you can go to Google and find out. You'll get all the details. But it's not really required, guys. Okay, at this point of time in our learning, it is not required. You can ignore that. Okay, but anyhow, in real time, we'll be using the let keyword. We'll not be using var keyword. And when you declare the variable with the when you declare this particular variable or create this variable with the help of let keyword, you can assign some value here. And when you print the variable name, automatically the value that is stored in the variable will get printed. Fine. So the advantage of the let keyword, okay, advantage of using the let keyword for creating the variable or declaring the variable in JavaScript is that you can change its value, guys. Okay, a is equal to 10, I can say. First you said let a is equal to 5. Now I'm saying a is equal to 10. Now if I print this variable a, 5 will be printed or 10 will be printed? 5 will be printed or 10 will be printed? The latest value 10 will be printed, guys. Okay. How this will happen? So here earlier you said let a is equal to 5. Okay. Then you said a is equal to 10. The next statement you said a is equal to 10. So this 10 will be stored in one of the memory location here. Assume that the 10 got stored in this memory location. Okay, 10 got stored in this another memory slot. Now A is equal to 10. Earlier A was referring to the memory location where the actual data 5 was stored. The moment you say in the next statement, when you say A, after this statement in the program, when you say A is equal to 10, A will now refer to the memory location where the 10 is now stored. Okay. Now what at a time A can be referring only to one memory slot. Since A is currently referring to the memory location where the latest data 10 is stored, the reference to the connection to the, okay, older slot is lost here. Okay, A is no more referring to the memory location where the earlier data 5 was stored, and now new connection has been made to this memory slot where the 10 is stored. Okay, so here 5 will not be deleted immediately, guys. Okay, maybe the programming language cleaning mechanism later will clear this if it is unused for a period of time. For now, A is actually referring to this 10, not 5. Okay, so that is the reason when you write console.log of A, since A is currently referring to the memory location where the 10 is stored, what will be printed in the output? 5 will be printed or 10 will be printed? The latest value 10 will be printed, guys. Okay, the latest value 10 will be printed. Node 2.js, you see 10 got printed. Okay, 10 got printed. Okay, so we can update the value of the variable from the first one to the second one. Okay, so this is the purpose of the let keyword, guys. Okay, using let keyword, this is possible. Using let keyword, this is possible. Now, along with the let keyword, we also have the along with the let keyword, we also have the const keyword, right? Let me explain about the const keyword. What will happen with the const keyword? If you are using const keyword, const, okay, b is equal to 6. Const b is equal to 6. If you say, let me write that here. So here I'll write down const b is equal to 6. Okay, another variable I created. Now, if I say console.log of b, what will be printed? The value that is actually stored into the variable b got printed, but this time the variable b is declared or created with const keyword. Okay, when I run this code, what will happen? You see, first 10 got printed, then 6 got printed. Here a got printed as 10, the latest value, and b got printed as currently stored value into the b, that is 6 got printed. But now, can you update the this value that is stored into the variable b with another value, like I have done with the variable a? Here a was initially provided with 5, then it got updated with 10. Can I do the same thing with b? B is equal to 12, can I say? You see, here it's not giving you any problems or so, but when I run this code, I'm going to get an error. You see, 10 got printed. A got printed as the latest updated value into the variable A. That is, A is now referring to the new memory location where the actual 10 data 10 is stored, and it's no more referring to 5. So 10 got printed here. But what happened with the B? B is equal to 12. There is a problem. B is declared with a keyword known as const keyword. When you declare a particular variable instead of the let keyword, if you declare the variable with const keyword, its assigned value cannot be updated, guys. Okay, cannot change the value here. You cannot change you cannot update the value that is initially stored into the variable with any other value. Okay, so this is a problem. Okay, it's not the problem, it's actually how it works. Okay, but there is no restriction with let declared variables. Let declared variable values can be updated. Okay, it is actually a variable. Here b is like a constant, guys. Okay, here a is a variable, b is a constant. You have to generally say what is a variable whose value keeps changing is called as a variable. Here a can be called as a variable, guys, but b is not a variable, guys. It is a constant. B is not a variable, it is a constant, guys, whose value cannot be updatable. Okay, if you remove this, it will work. Okay, if you remove this, you will not get this. Assignment to constant variable is not possible. Here they are saying constant variable whose value cannot be updatable. Okay, just give me a second. Let me run it again this time after updating. You see, now it's working fine. But you cannot modify the value that is originally stored into the variable with any other value because constant variables or constants cannot be updatable. Okay, whereas let declared variables values can be updatable, and latest updated value will be accessed here when you try to print the variables, etc. Okay, so here a lot of things you have identified, guys. Okay, a lot of things you have learned here, right? So at a high level, this is like, where is the old one? You don't have to worry about that. Then the modern way and safe way is the let keyword. Oh, you can also update it. Reassignment allowed. You see, you can change from Alice to Bob or something. Then what is the next thing? Next, you don't have to understand each and everything that is there in the notes at a high level, whatever. Constant values cannot change. Okay, you cannot change. You see, initially you have given 3.14, you cannot change it back, change it to this one later. Okay, only one time. If you know that the initial given value is the final one and you don't want to update it anymore, then you have to go with a const. You have to declare that constant variable with const. Otherwise, you can declare that variable with the let keyword. Okay, and where keyword already told you it's older one. You don't have to learn about that. Okay. So guys, I don't want to go in depth at this point of time for this particular session. This much of information is more than enough. Though there are a lot of things that I need to explain you, okay, regarding the variables, declaring with let and const keyword and all those stuff. But at this point of time, I don't want to go too deep. At this point of time, I would like to stop here, and when the right time comes, I'll explain more about this variables topic for you. Okay. So hope guys you understood what exactly are variables and how to create them in JavaScript using the latest trends like let and const, and based on the value you want to update or not of the variable, you have to either use let or const, and where is outdated you don't have to use. So in the next session I'm going to explain about the literals topic, guys. Okay, till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session of this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic under JavaScript basics, that is literals. So let's get started. What exactly are literals? Let me explain that first. What are literals? Okay, what exactly are literals? Literals means database. Okay, whatever the data that you are storing into the variables in programming is nothing but literals. Okay, for example, if you say let a is equal to 5, here 5 is nothing but the literal. The data that you are storing into this variable in this particular statement is nothing but the literal. Okay, so what is a literal? Literal is nothing but data in, currently I'm in JavaScript, right? In JavaScript programming. Okay, the technical term that I am using for data is nothing but the literal. Literal is nothing but the data in JavaScript programming or any other programming language also. Literal is nothing but a data that you are storing into the variable. Here in this particular statement, A is nothing but the variable. I already covered about the variable in the previous session. Variable is nothing but the name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data is stored, right? Is nothing but the name given to the reserved memory location where the actual data is stored. Here, literal is nothing but this data. Whatever is the data that you are representing in Java script programming language is technically called as a literal. Okay, literal is nothing but the data. The data that you are storing into the variable or whatever it may be is called as a literal. Fine. So hope guys you understood what exactly is a variable, what exactly is a literal, all those stuff. Okay, you understood right now. Fine. Now, another thing you need to know in JavaScript programming language is we don't have any data types. In JavaScript programming language, we don't have any data types, guys. We only have variables, we only have literals, and we have the operators. But we don't have any data types. Okay. In JavaScript programming language, okay, we don't have any data types. We have data types in Java language. Okay. We have different data types in Java programming language. But but we don't have any data types. Okay. We have different data types in Java programming language. What are the different primitive data types we have in Java programming language? These are the ones. Okay. Let me explain. First one, byte. Then we have short. Then we have int. Then long. Then float. Double. Boolean. Char. These are the different primitive data types we have in Java programming language. But coming to the JavaScript, we don't have any data types. Okay. Here, let is not a data type. Here, let is not a data type like byte, short, int, long. Based on the type of the data or literal that you are storing into the variable, we have to declare this variable in Java programming language with the different data types. If you are storing the numerical data, then you have to declare this variable with a particular data type in Java programming language. Then what about the JavaScript programming language? Do we have to specify or declare this variable with a particular data type in JavaScript programming language? The answer is no. In JavaScript programming language, you don't have any data types. We don't have different data types in JavaScript programming language. We have different primitive data types in Java programming language. But coming to the JavaScript programming language, there are no different data types we have. Okay. We only have something like let. Okay. Only one keyword you are using here. For any type of the data you are storing into the variable, for any type of literal you are trying to store into the variable, we only have one item that is let. This is not a data type. Okay. This is not a data type. In JavaScript, if you want to create a variable or declare a variable, we need to use this let keyword. Apart from the let, we also have the other keywords I already covered in the previous session like const and all. But the generally used one is let. Okay, let is the keyword we have to use for creating the variable. But in other programming languages like Java programming language, we have to use different type of data types in order to create the variables. Sometimes we use byte a is equal to 5. Sometimes we'll use short a is equal, okay? Like that different type of data types we need to use based on the type of the data or literal you are storing into this variable in Java programming language. Okay. But in JavaScript programming language, we don't have different data types to be specified before this variable in order to create the variable. Okay. We only have something like let. Okay. Commonly used let here. Okay. So when you create a variable using this let keyword or when you declare this variable with the let keyword, you can store different type of literals into this variable. You can store different type of literals into these variables. Okay. What type of literals I can store into the variable when I declare this variable with either let or const kind of keywords in JavaScript I'm going to cover in this session. Okay. What are the different type of literals we have? So we have different type of literals guys, but this at this point of time, we don't have to learn all the types. Okay. Gradually in the upcoming sessions, you will get a lot of knowledge about the different type of literals. But at this point of time, since we are in the beginning stage, having an idea of what, at a high level, what type of literals are available in JavaScript is more than enough, guys. It's not compulsory that you should have the end-to-end knowledge of each and every literal type in this session itself. Okay. So anyhow, let me open this note so that you will see the different type of literals in JavaScript. Okay, different type of literals means different type of data in JavaScript that you can store into the variables when you declare the variables or create the variables either using the let, var, or const keywords in JavaScript. Okay, fine. Let me open the notes here. I'll be using these notes as a reference, guys. Okay, don't take this note seriously. Okay, I'm using these notes as a reference only. Okay, whatever I want to explain from this note, I'll explain. Remaining things, if they are kind of complex and they are not, not to be covered in this particular session, I'll ignore them. Okay, whatever from these notes I feel that they are important in this session for you to know, those only I will focus in this particular session. Okay, fine. What are the different types of literals in JavaScript? First one is numerical literals. Okay, let me different type of literals. Okay, different we don't have different data types in JavaScript, but we have different types of literals in JavaScript. We have different types of literals in JavaScript, guys. What are the different types of literals? That is different types of data we have in JavaScript. First one is the numerical literals. Okay, numerical literals is the first type. Okay, numerical literals. Numerical literals can be further categorized into two types. One is integer literals, and other one is floating point literals. Okay, one is integer literals, other one is a floating point literals. Okay, so what are integer literals? Non-decimal numbers are called as integer literals, guys. Okay, for example, you can see here non-decimal numbers are called as, when I write let a is equal to 14, here 14 is a data or literal which is numerical and non-decimal. It doesn't have any decimal values like dot, one, two, or something like that. Okay, so these are integer literals. Okay, 14 is an example for integer literals. What about the floating point literals? Let a is equal to 12.34. Here a decimal number is there. Okay, numerical decimal number like dot 34 is there in this number. So this is called as floating point literal. Okay, the second under numerical literals we have integer literals, floating point literals. Okay, apart from the integer and floating point literals, we have other type of literals also, but you don't have to focus much. Okay, don't go too deep, guys. Okay, don't go too deep. All these are in numerical literals, but at a high level, you see everything, every subject is like an ocean. Okay, if you keep digging, a lot of topics will keep coming in or kicking in. So this, at this point of time, numerical literals, the generally used ones are integer literals and floating point literals. Integer numerical literals will not have any decimal. It's a numerical number, doesn't have any decimal point. Whereas floating point literals are numerical numbers which have some decimal point in them. Okay, so hope you understood what are numerical literals, right? What are numerical literals? Then we have string literals, guys. Next category we have is about the string literals. Okay, what is the next category? String literals. What are string literals in JavaScript? Coming to the string literals in JavaScript, okay. So any text, if you surround with double quotes, or anything that you surround with double quotes in JavaScript is nothing but the string literal, guys. For example, I'm surrounding my name with double quotes, okay. So here, if I say let a is equal to, if I write like this, okay, this is an example of a string literal. Anything that you are surrounding with double quotes in the JavaScript is called as a string literal. Okay, generally we surround the text in JavaScript using double quote symbols, and this part that you are storing into this variable is called as string literal. This part is called as string literal. Okay, so here you see string literals. Use it to represent text, enclose it in. You can, in JavaScript, guys, you can enclose this string literals either in double quotes or single quotes also. Okay, this is also fine. This is also same, guys. Okay, so this is also same. Okay, so you can either represent the string literals in JavaScript using double quotes. You can also represent the string literals in JavaScript using single quotes also. Like this also is same. Okay, using single quotes also, it's called as a string literal only. This is also string literal and this is also string literal. Okay, the type of the data that you are storing into the variable, which is surrounded by single quotes or double quotes in JavaScript, is called as a string literal. Clear now? So from the notes, you can clearly see what is the string literal and all those stuff. Okay, and many other varieties will be there. These are the, you see, if you keep digging in, I told you, right, a lot of things will come, but these are the majorly used ones. Okay, so you can ignore other things. Okay, so don't go too deep, guys. Okay, just try to understand the literals concept. Okay, this response is given by ChatGPT, so These notes are generated by ChatGPT, so a lot of extra information will come. So whatever that is relevant for you, you have to take it, and remaining you have to forget for a while. Okay, ignore for a while. Next category of literals we have in JavaScript are Boolean literals. Okay, the next one is a Boolean literals, guys. Okay, what are Boolean literals? Boolean literals. Boolean literals only have two possibilities. One is true, other one is false. Okay, one is true, other one is false. So if I say let A is equal to true, let B is equal to false. These are the only two possibilities of the Boolean literal. Apart from this true false, we don't have any other. Apart from this true false, we don't have any Boolean literals available in JavaScript. Okay, so this here integer literal is 14. 12.34 is a floating point literal. 14 is an integer numerical literal. 12.34 is a numerical floating point literal. And text surrounded by double quotes or single quotes are the string literals. Okay, either true or false are the Boolean literals. Okay, these are the things. Next, we have something known as null literal. You don't have to specifically learn this, guys. Okay, null is if you are trying to store null into a particular variable, right? Okay, then it is called as null literal. At this point of time, don't worry about that because I need to cover a lot of other concepts for you to understand this null category. You can ignore this. Okay, importantly, numerical literals, string literals, boolean literals. When you are learning, you can also learn about null literals, but at this point of time, you can ignore for a while, guys. Undefined literal. If you are not assigning any data to this particular variable, if you're not storing any data into this particular variable or literal into this variable, by default, it will be undefined. And that is also called as undefined literal, guys. Okay. Okay. That is also called as an undefined. Okay. If you have not declared a particular variable with, if you have not assigned a particular variable with a particular data or literal type or something, then you will get undefined literal. Then we have something known as object literals. So just keep in mind that there are other type of literals, guys. Okay, so let me at a high level. Okay, the major ones are numerical literals. Okay, at this point of time, you need to know about the numerical literals, string literals, boolean literals. Okay, these are the three literals in the numerical literals. Two subparts are there like integer literals and floating point literals. So these are the so far type of literals we have seen. Apart from this, what are the other additional type of literals we have? One is null literals. Okay, null literals. Other one is undefined literals. If you are not assigning any data or literal to a particular variable in JavaScript, is called as undefined literals. Okay. Then apart from that, what else we have? Object literals. Okay. So there is a different concept in JavaScript known as objects, guys. Okay. So let's not worry about these objects. I'm going to cover this regarding these objects in the upcoming sessions, guys. Okay. Somewhere here I'm going to cover about the objects. But for now, you just ignore this and just have an idea that in JavaScript we have different type of literals like integer numerical literals, floating point numerical literals, string literals, boolean literals, null literals, undefined literals. We also have something like thing known as object literals. Okay, what are object literals? I cannot explain right now at this point of time in the session. I cannot explain that. Just will postpone or ignore for a while. Okay. Then we have array literals. I'll also explain about this array literals later. Okay. So we also have something like array literals. These are the different type of literals we have in Java. Till I explain about the arrays in the upcoming sessions, don't worry about these array literals, but have a kind of clue that there are the different type of literals will are there in JavaScript, and one of them is array literals. You just have some idea, but don't worry how they will be there, how to represent that literal and all. Don't worry about that. Okay, regular expression. Okay, if you are storing some regular expression into a variable, what are these regular expressions and all? Don't worry about this, guys, until it is required for us to learn, and if it is really required for us to learn and the coming sessions. Okay, you have to learn about this regular expressions. Okay, so regular expressions, literals. Okay, this is another type of letters. Then we have other lot of other types, guys. Okay, the list will keep going on, but these are the major ones that you have to have the idea about. Okay, so at this point of time, I mean, explanation wise, you already understood what are numerical literals, floating point literals, integer literals, and string literals, and boolean literals. And coming to the null literals, undefined literals, these are the other literals we have apart from these literals that we generally use in real time. We also have null literals, undefined literals, object literals, array literals, and regular expression literals. Okay, in JavaScript. Okay, so when the right time comes, you'll be learning about all the different type of literals. But at this point of time, you need to know about some literals, and you should have some idea about literals, even though you don't know how to use these literals or what exactly the literals are all about. But you should have a general idea about, or okay, kind of knowledge about what type of literals exist in JavaScript, even though you don't know how to use them. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so these are the different type of literals. Let me give a small demo of this literals, guys. Let me create this I'll simply say literals.js, I'll say. Okay, here let a is equal to 9. So this is a numerical integer literal, guys. Okay. Then I'll say let b is equal to 12.34. This is a floating point, numerical floating point literal. If I say let c is equal to, you see what type of literal you are storing into the variable. The variable will be generally created with the same keywords like var, let, or const kind of keywords, guys. Okay. Generally, we'll use let as a general thing. Okay. Out of this var, const, and let as covered in the previous session, we'll be generally using let. So let is a keyword that you have to use for creating the variables, irrespective of which type of literal you are storing into the variable. Okay, unlike other programming languages like Java or some other programming languages, right? In Java programming language, we have different type of data types here. Based on the type of the literal or data you are storing into the variable, we have different type of data types. Okay, in place of the let in a Java programming language, we have to use different keywords based on the type of the data I'm storing into the variable. But here in case of JavaScript, whatever the type of literal or data you're storing into the variable, the same let keyword will be there. Okay, so remember that. Okay, so 9 and here, but the literal type here is, numerical integer literal, numerical floating point literal. And if I say here double quotes and if I give my name like this, okay, this string literal, okay, then if I give like this, if I give like this, okay, JavaScript demo or something, okay? In single quotes, if I give, for example, if I give this in single quotes, if I give this in single quotes, this is also a string literal. In JavaScript, double quotes, text surrounded by double quotes or text surrounded by single quotes or anything surrounded by single quotes or double quotes is nothing but a string literal. Then we have Boolean literals like, true. This is a Boolean literal. Another possibility of the Boolean literal is nothing but the false case, okay? So these are the different type of literals at a high level that we mostly used in JavaScript, guys. Okay, these are the major ones. So let me demonstrate them. If you are fed up of writing this console.log every time, right? You know the shortcut, right? CLG and tab space. Okay, CLG tab space, and here just write A. And also I'll just write here A comma B comma C comma D comma multiple items. Why to write multiple console.log statements? I can finish up here itself. Okay, so I'll just say clear and run this node literals.js. Okay, run this and I should get the output. Let's see what output I'll get it. Why it's taking a lot of time here. Yeah, it has given the output, but it has taken some time for running the program. I don't know. Okay, 9 got printed. Floating point literal numerical floating point literal got printed. String literal got printed. String literal surrounded by single quotes also got printed. Okay. And then true got printed, false got printed. Okay, different type of literals got printed here. That's fine. Now here if I say let G is equal to null. Okay, if I'm not assigning any data and in place of that, instead of keeping it undefined, I want to mention it null. I'll explain more about the null in the upcoming sessions. A lot of other topics are there, right? Till then, don't worry about the null. But if you are assigning the null instead of the different literals, if you are simply assigning null means empty. Okay, nothing. Null means nothing. You are not assigning anything. If you don't want assigning anything, and if you want to represent that you are not assigning anything, okay, then you can say null. Okay, so null should be printed. Okay, this is a null literal. This is nothing but the null literal. Don't worry about the null at this point of time. If you don't understand about null at this point of time, okay, just have an idea that null literal is there and you have to use like this for a while until you know the actual details about the null. Just understand like this. That's enough. That's more than enough, guys. Okay, whether you know about the details or not, you see null got printed as it is. Okay, then let h. I'm not assigning any literal here on. I'm not storing even null also. Forget about the different type of literal or data I'm going to store into the variable. Here I was storing null, but here at least null I was storing instead of the specifying any data. But here I'm not even assigning any literal or data to this particular variable. If I directly print this variable, what will happen? If I directly print this variable, what will happen? Undefined literal will be printed. Okay, undefined, you see undefined literal got printed. Like this different type of literals are there. I told you, right, apart from this null literal, undefined literal, we also have other type of literals like object literals, array literals, regular expression literals. Okay, I cannot demonstrate you these items at this. At least I tried this to demonstrate in this session, even though I have not explained this about the null concept or other stuff in detail, but at least I was able to demonstrate at a high level for you. Though a lot of things you are ignoring or waiting for the upcoming sessions to cover the topic details. Okay, but here object literals, array literals, regular expression, strictly I'm not going to demonstrate also. Okay, don't worry about them. Okay, so I'm going to cover about the object literals, array literals, regular, natural in the upcoming sessions. So with this note, guys, we are done with the different type of literals we have in JavaScript. Okay, we let's not make this topic complicated, guys. Okay, let's understand what exactly is a literal and what type of literals are available. Few literals I was able to demonstrate. Few literals we have postponed to the upcoming sessions because they will be naturally covered in the upcoming topics of this or sessions of this JavaScript course. Okay, till then, ignore the remaining stuff, and whatever that you want to understand, you just whatever you understood, you keep it with you. Whatever you have not understood, just have an idea and ignore about the knowledge part. Okay, that will be anyhow clear for you in the upcoming sessions. Fine, then next topic will be operators, guys, that I'm going to cover in the next session. Okay, so we are done with the literals topic. I'll be going into the operators topic that I'm going to cover in the next session. Okay, till then, see you, bye bye.